Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Stuck in the Middle podcast. I'm your host, Uncle AK. And today I have a very special guest. But before I introduce him, please, if this is your first time checking the show, please hit that subscribe button at the bottom for weekly notifications. And thank you again to listeners who are returning. Um, I know I don't do this on a weekly basis, but I plan on doing so on a weekly basis. I'll try to, as so far I get the guest. And shout out to Therese for um introducing my guest today. So, my guest today, man, I'm very excited. I've watched this brother. I've watched his brother, stalk his social media, watch him do his thing, how he moves, shine, things like that. I'll get into it, but for the most thing, it's more of style, culture, dance, you know what I mean? And then just the pursuit of happiness in itself. Um,
Absolutely.
He's a multifaceted public figure with a diverse background as an international master of ceremony, award-winning TV and radio host, a journalist, sports reporter, voiced over artist, content creator, and an actor. And he offers a wealth of interesting angles. Please, Stuck in Real family, welcome MC extraordinaire Steve Fonkam to Stuck in Real podcast. Welcome, brother. Welcome.
Thank you so much, brother. Thank you, Uncle AK.
Yes, sir, man.
It's it's really a pleasure, joining you guys. I've been following Stuck in the Middle podcast for the past 7 or 8 years, if I am not mistaken. Back in the days when I used to host Dope Music,
Yeah,
one of the leading urban music radio shows we had during that period when it was airing on Sweet FM. I was hosting it with Eva.
yeah,
So I used to follow Stuck in the Middle podcast, and trust me, the conversations are very engaging, very interesting, very insightful. And we have young people who are articulate, who sound intelligent, who sound who are well read, and that's a Cameroon we really want to see. That's the diaspora I want to see who contributing not only what's happening in the immediate environment where you guys are over there, Michigan, and everything and all that. But at
yeah,
the same time, you have an eye on what's happening on the ground in Cameroon. It shows how much your heart is still back home, and you're all about developing the country, forging the mindset here, and preparing the ground for your kids and your grandkids, and for yourself. So yeah, I've been following Stuck in the Middle podcast, and it's a pleasure for me to be here today to share my story, to relate with brothers and sisters that you are.
for sure. Appreciate that, brother. Appreciate that. Man, where to start? Man, tell us a little bit about yourself. Who's Steve? For those who don't know yet, I don't even know who does not know, but
Yeah.
I tell this
No,
one.
no, no. Many people, trust me, many people do not know because um, if the gospel itself, which has, to reach the ends of the earth, still has some people who do not know about the gospel. Then how about me? I mean, it's going to be pretentious for any human being, even if you're Michael Jackson, bro, even if you're Al Kelly, there'll be generations that will not know you, even in the same generations. And like some people might not even know who, the F you are. So humbly, I think like every day I will reintroduce myself or I introduce myself to those who do not know. So basically, Steve Fonkam is an international master of ceremony, a journalist, more precisely a sports reporter and a sports journalist, content creator, voice-over artist, producer, and I just did my debut in acting and I've acted in two feature movies. I had supporting roles. One of the movies right now is on Netflix, and the other one is on Amazon Prime Video. Half Heaven. I acted the role of Pastor Luma in it, and we are having very good feedback. And then when we went on cinemas too, it actually hit the records. That's about Half Heaven. And then we have Axulu, directed by Dr. Ken Stevens, and his directors in Cameroon the past 15 years, or 10 years now. So I started, and then I voice acted in two movies. Nganu, that's definitely going to start on Netflix, already on Netflix, I guess, directed by Can Quintus. I think the voice you hear, the journalist's voice you hear reporting about the Cameroon military and all of that with
That's you.
my voice. Yeah.
Okay.
And then before the levees broke, directed also by the ace Cameroonian director, and just really won about 30 awards internationally. I also voice acted in it. So I'm an actor, I'm a voice actor. So pretty much, I'm a
Man,
producer too. I produce a couple of shows, but I know I'm getting there. I'm getting
listen, we'll get into all of that. We don't give
there.
too much in the start. Then what are we going to finish with?
Yeah.
Growing up, a lot of people have the idea of, I want to be an astronaut, or I want to be, movie star, or, doctor, engineer. What was your own really growing up?
Shockingly, I wanted to be an astronaut.
Really? At what point did you say, you know what? Now forget that. I'm gonna get into entertainment.
But before I even get to that point, how did I even nurture the dream of becoming an astronaut? Well, because of TV. Back then in Cameroon, when TV just was the new thing that was a new invention that came to Cameroon because it was existing somewhere else already all over the world. But when we had CRTV, there was no more cable, not the dish. When you had antenne parabolic
Yeah.
back in the days, like, you were some rich dude. You were from a rich home. It was easy
Back
to know those rich homes back then. The difference was so clear. So when CRTV came and people had, free, because it was free TV, the television of, clair gratuit. So we had free TV. I so started watching all these Transtel documentaries of the first man to step on the moon and blah. It was all cool, bro. Like everybody talked about it. Like, wow, and I love doing things that people don't do. So I felt like if they are very rare or it's just one person or few people who step on the moon, yo, I want to be an astronaut. I want to explore things that are beyond my environment, that are beyond this world. Just like a child, I just felt like, no, let me go over there. Let me go up there, close to God and all of those funny things. So I
Right.
started thinking, I told my parents I want to become an astronaut. We had to laugh about it. But, well, it was serious. Then later on, I, I grew up and the realities around me started dawning. My mom wanted me to be a doctor. I was good at arts and sciences. She really wanted me to be in the medical field. And, unfortunately, even her health, and stuff. I mean, we'll probably get into that, but she wanted me to be a doctor. Then later on, I was very good at arts and sciences. But when she passed away, many things changed because before she passed away, we were on the track of, like, she was trying to guide me in my newfound, passion. I wanted to do law.
Okay.
I was so enthused by the idea of defending people. I just hate injustice until this day. I just hate injustice. I like buying people's cases. I had to refrain from that for a while because some people are very deceitful. But I think, like, I really wanted to defend. And so the last thing we're trying to do when my mom was alive was to help me become a magistrate, right? She had all her contacts. I was like, when my
Mm.
son is out, he has to get into Inam and stuff like that. And unfortunately, before I could even have my ordinary level, she passed away. She passed away while I was still in Form 2.
Mhm.
And everything started crumbling around me. And then I realized that, oh, this Inam thing and all what I heard about Inam, the more I found out, the more I realized that for this country, if you don't have a God Father, only God will be your savior. And yes, I believed in God back then, but with the things that happened, I started trusting the realities.
Wow.
I didn't walk by faith. And I said, you know what? I better get into a profession that will help me feed my family or feed myself. I didn't think about my family, even feed myself first
Mm.
before helping my family. Because when my mom passed away, I had trust. When she passed away from 2, the insurance that she had subscribed for would have ended once I, you know, I finished, Lewis.
Yeah.
So I told myself my years are counted. It means I will not even be able to have my advanced level, talk less of doing a concours to get to a NAM or whatever. So, see, nigga, be realistic. There's no one here who's about to give you free money. There's no one here who's about to take your responsibility. What her friends are all been doing is enormous to take care of our health and a couple of other things and stuff like that. And that's how, during my 2000 and 2004 holiday, I had the opportunity to be on TV as a holiday maker on a private station, private TV station that
Mhm.
had a license, STV back then. And that's how it was fun. But before I realized it, 2 years after, I started considering being on TV. And that's how I got into the media world. Not something I premeditated, but people found in me a talent, something, a shining star. They were like, you have something. When you're on camera, you outshine all the other people. My uncle used to dress me so well. He used to do this trickery kind of stuff, and he
Mhm.
was so well dressed always, and shout out to him, Tonton Kuno. So he used to, you know, get my own outfits, style me, and all of that. And I always look sharp. I didn't know how I looked, but people were like, "Oh my God, you went crazy about the outfit." I was like,
Right.
"Look at this crazy thing that my uncle made me do." But people loved it, and that's how I became a TV, sensation. But right back in 2004, and I said, "You know what? I need to stay here." Since they told me I could make some money out of it, I said,
Mhm.
"Okay, cool." Then I loved it. I realized that, I've always been that guy who is in front of people, the public speaker, the public performer. I used back in the days in Sase. I remember with Bene and all the other people, we formed a group back in Dombolo group. And our SP boy back in the days, Olisa Okafor, we call him Olus Mambele, and then Rogers, and all those guys, they were really pushful and making us to get, he entertained us in our time. So I felt like, we even danced for some Sobans when the prime ministers came. Former Prime Minister Peter Mafan Musonge, he came with his friends, James Onobiono and all of that, of Sitabak and stuff like that. And we performed. We were called up by the principal to come perform, to represent the school when it comes to performance. And so I realized that there was this part of me that I didn't really take seriously. I used to write plays at school.
Mhm.
I wrote plays, I performed plays during Serac when Chantal Biya sent people to come and visit, the different schools. I wrote plays, got people who performed it, who won prizes, and all of that. So I realized that it is pretty much a world that I already belong to, but I really did not know because I was focused on being a magistrate.
Mhm.
So everything just turned out to come back to the starting point.
Nice. Nice. Man, being that, you're this dope master of ceremony, what I mean, not just weddings. I mean, I'm talking about shows, events. You've hosted your own event on, to teach people how to become, master of ceremony. You title yourself MC Extraordinaire. Well, first up, before I even ask my question, how did you come up with that name?
The clients or my audience gave me that name. The name was crafted from their feedback. So feedback in communication is key. So you make sure your communication goals are attained and you get to know how effective you're communicating or what are the things that are lacking for you to correct. Every time I finish an event and I always have a time for networking before I disappear. I wouldn't stay throughout the night. Even all the hype and the dancing is just at a particular moment, but after that, you won't see me anymore because it's important to keep that myth. It's important to respect yourself. It's important to understand that you can be friendly with your clients, but not think you're their friend. You don't go beyond the line. You should know that in as much as to smile with the ones you are around, and you shouldn't go beyond limits. So during that networking period, that moment of you know being humane, coming together, vibing together. When we discuss, people are like, "Yo, Steve, you're extraordinary. You're exceptional. You're very talented at what you do. Bro, this is an excellent presentation. Bro, you are out of this world." So the words extraordinary, excellent, extraordinary, excellent. extraordinary, excellent kept coming back. And I was like, oh, yeah. And then somebody said, uh, MC extraordinary. I was like, oh, okay. Then I had to give it a twist. I said, that sounds so good. So if I am extraordinary, I am your MC extraordinary. Because guess what? When you're selling a product, people buy the value they perceive of that product. So if you see me as extraordinary, I will appear to you as extraordinary. And that time, I realized that that's the product I had already sold. So I had to make sure I preserve that extraordinary status. Unless I move upwards, I wouldn't settle for less than that. So I called myself MC Extraordinary just to add the style to it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how it stuck with me.
Hey man,
And
look at what you're wearing
I'm
right.
stuck in the middle of that name right now.
You know what I'm saying? Look at what you're wearing right now. Look at your outfit right now, you know. But shout out to my brother-in-law MC JB. I was just shouting him about
Yeah,
yeah, Jean,
Jean Baptiste.
yeah, Jean Baptiste. Yeah.
I love all of them, man. I
Yeah, man.
love them. MC Darcy, Jean Baptiste. Uh, how they call this one? Diwumio? Is it? There's also my brother. How they call him? They had that for him. Oh, the
No worries.
singing MC.
Shout out to
There's
all of
many
them,
of them.
man. They know whoever is forgetting is nothing personal. You know what I mean? You know the love, but it's something unique about each person's style. You know that they bring to the table.
Yeah.
Not one person is the same. What is your own style like? And as you say that, what are two absolute unique styles that an MC should have?
First and foremost, you should know who you are. I used to tell people, when you have a good notion of self, you'll be able to bring out your uniqueness or express your uniqueness. So I would not say have a particular style. One thing an MC's got to do is first of all the consciousness of self. Then you would express a lot of things that are unique. Secondly, you have to be well prepared and know what your job description is. There's nothing that beats preparation. There's nothing that beats hard work
Mhm.
and dedication and consistency. Bro, you need to work. After everything, this is a job. This is work. You might have the talent, yes, but now it should become a skill. I've gotten to a point where I host an event so effortlessly. I feel like I've done nothing, and I'm like, yo, did I really host this thing well? Because I didn't feel any stress, but people are mad. And when I watched the video, I realized the work that has been put in. It's simply because I've been so used to working and delivering at such an excellent level that that's become part of me. And once I'm excellent, it's like when I'm breathing. You get the point.
Yeah.
And this comes when you consistently deliver at the top. When you make sure that you don't go below the performance called excellent. So, like I said, nothing beats consistency in delivering excellence. You must be well prepared in order to deliver excellently. You must know what your job description is and what are the standards above the ordinary standards, or you should know the general business standard and ask yourself, look at your skill and your talent and see whether you can push boundaries forward. If you can set a new yardstick, you can become the yardstick. If you
Mhm.
can set new limits, then you are going to reinvent yourself and beat your own record. Be your own competition and work hard, consistently deliver at the top. And trust me, people will buy your work ethics. People will buy that value. It's just going to be just more than you performing, but it's the culture of excellence that it's rare to find, in our society today, especially us here in Cameroon.
Right.
People will buy that expectedly. So I would advise every MC to have a consciousness of self and also have um have have the call it have a very intricate relationship with excellence.
Yeah, that's pretty dope. That's pretty dope. While you're speaking, that you mentioned something about, location where you are right now, being, the dope TV host and, MC, location too matters, right? Like I know maybe if you were in some other place, you'll be even bigger, than what you are now. Not to say that
Absolutely.
right now you're not. How has location in itself, hinder your progress or where you vision yourself?
Well, I think right now I have proven um, what I'm worth in my immediate geographical location, which is Cameroon. I have been able um, to work for, to work to earn a name. I've worked and I've earned a name, and at least those who are in the industry and those who are, be it stakeholders, be it fans, or maybe be it viewers or listeners, know about Steve. They know that there is this Steve Fonkam who is amongst the best, if not the best. So now I think it's time for me, while not abandoning my local market, because it's all about, I look at this as business, right?
Hmm.
I have to conquer a territory. And once you conquer that territory, you shouldn't abandon that territory while going to conquer other territories. You should keep in touch. It's like you're setting up a business and then you move on to go and set up another business. The one you set up and that's working should not die because you aren't there, but should be able to move and to be able to keep, attaining its goals. So this is it. I think it's time for me to conquer different territories. Reason why in my bucket list for this year, Europe, the US, and some African countries are in my bucket list. I need to go out there, make myself known to those audience. And I know I'm going to start, I'm going to start from below, but not from the base. Like I have not had a name in my country before. That's just the advantage. The work I've been able to put in here will help me out of the country. So I want to come to the US because I know that I have a lot of people who've been keeping up with me, while in Cameroon, while I'm doing my stuff in Cameroon, and that it has started forming a fan base. They can inform the others like, yo, this guy is good. And then when I get there, they want to see whether all what they have heard, or they want to verify whether all what they have heard is true. So right now, it's time for me to conquer different markets, different geographical locations. So I'm looking forward to traveling a lot.
Yeah, man, and travel you shall. Um, with all
Amen.
the shows that you've done, which one stands out? Which one or two stood out the most to you, or most
Well,
memorable?
I had a lot of great memories. I could talk to you about the 2018 World Cup. I could talk to you about Canal d'Or since 2017 that I've been hosting right up to now. I'm the longest serving Anglophone host, you know, um, on the Canal d'Or red carpet. And I could talk to you about Music Star, which is the biggest music contest in Cameroon so far. I've been the longest serving Anglophone host, main host, from 2000, I guess 2019, and it's yearly. So from 2019 right up till now. And I could talk to you about a lot, but trust me, brother, I had a recent experience. Last year, I give praise to God. I had some names of countries in my bucket list, but I went to some and not to the others. And I went to Morocco and I had a wonderful experience at the Focus Africa event in Casablanca. I went to Rwanda. Oh my God, Rwanda is such an amazing country. Same thing as Morocco. Development in Morocco is out of this world. From Casablanca, which is one of the oldest cities. We thought we had seen it all in Casablanca. They just wanted to rebuild Casablanca. When we got to Tanger and to Rabat, where the king lives, my God, it was like it was something else. And the hospitals there and everything we saw. Went to Rwanda, it was fantastic. But trust me, my most memorable event is JD Awards that took place in Cote d'Ivoire. I shed tears when I got into my hotel room. My brother, to be very candid, I have never been disrespected in my entire career like I should be respected. the way I was respected. I swear to my mother that the way they respected me from here to Ivory Coast and back, bro, that's what this profession is supposed to be.
Mhm.
That's how it's supposed to be. JLE Awards is the yardstick from the professionalism. I felt like a fish in water. I felt like finally this is the environment I'm supposed to be.
Mhm.
I did not have to shout at anybody. I
Mhm.
keep shouting at my teams here sometimes, and I tell my colleagues and all the other people, we are not doing the things right. We got the talent, we have even the skills, but we are not in the right professional environmental conditions. Imagine an average person working in the right professional environment. He's going to get better, deliver better than us. But we would be able to adapt easily and deliver far better when we'll be in the same environment. But let's try to make our country that place. Sometimes it's not all about money. It's all about the mindset.
Mhm.
Let's see how with the little we can do, put ourselves in those conditions. These billionaires here can provide the same things as some Cote d'Ivoire. When it came to production, when it came to work ethics, when it came to, bro, this is dope organization. And you could see from the results.
Mhm.
You could see, if I share with you the videos, I got them on my phone. Bro, this, and trust me, this award was broadcast on 17 different TV channels across Africa and on all BT networks in Europe, France, in France, and, and in Europe, France, and in Africa. If BT could broadcast it the way it is, it means they respected every standard.
Mhm. Mhm.
So Ivory Coast is occupying a very special place in my heart. And I want to thank specifically Shekivan, one of the most prominent, TV hosts right now in Cote d'Ivoire. He does he's the host of the program known as La Télé d'ici on NCI, La Nouvelle Chaîne Ivoirienne, which is the leading private TV station right now. Mad Productions. So I realized that the team, majority of them who produce our show, directed the show. Those who worked on the show, because it is Sheikh Evans Award ceremony, the first Pan African award organized by an Ivorian, which is really Pan African.
Mhm.
I realized that the team, the technical team, were whites. He took white people who are hyper trained to do the job. And I asked him the question. He told me, Steve, je ne suis pas là pour réinventer le fil à couper le beurre. Je suis pas là pour réinventer la télé. La télé a ses codes. La télé se fait d'une seule manière professionnelle. Donc, soit on veut faire la télé, soit on ne veut pas le faire. Soit on peut apprendre pour venir nous-mêmes faire, ou bien si on n'est pas prêt, on prend les gens qui peuvent le faire sans état d'âme. Je ne veux pas savoir s'ils sont blancs, s'ils sont rouges, s'ils sont noirs.
Mhm.
I don't care about their color, their race. If they are competent, I bring them and I get the results. Because what we should understand is that we have standards to attain. And if we want to do it ourselves, we better learn and make sure that we make this know-how available and we do what's supposed to be done. We get it right and we move on. And I love this mentality.
Man, that's
So
pretty dope.
that project is my best so far in my entire professional life. Bro, everything was coordinated from the airport. Let me forget about all those other ones because from the airport, everything. Bro, they called the presidency for me. Like this guy we never had on a public holiday in Ivory Coast. They gave me a visa. Do you know what it means for official? To the
That's
next
pretty big.
morning, working day, 8 a.m. I had my visa, man. They said,
That's pretty big.
travel and you get the visa upon arrival. Means that they worked doing the cut phone calls and everything, did everything necessary during the public holiday. And then the next day, first thing in the morning, they said, bought the flight. They're giving orders. I got to the flight before I landed there 3.5 hours after. Bro, everything was sorted out. I came to the
Wow.
airport just to give a call and the call. And this was And for mind you, the person who chose me saw me at an event here when he was here. Check it, man. He had never known me before. Not that he has known the Steve every 6 time, no. It's after that he checked on my Instagram. He was like, yo, this guy is good. I knew it was good because I saw him perform, but this guy has been good for a good time.
Yeah.
And so even the money he paid me, yo, bro, I had some really good money. You get it? I had some really good money. So when I got there, my backstage, on stage, I had about four people with whom I interacted with. Fali Pupa's uh, artistic manager, whenever I came here for when it comes to coming for concerts and everything, he was one taking care of my backstage. Me around. I got to my backstage. My name was already written on me. They had already prepared my hall. They asked me before time, what do you want to have in your room? And stuff like that. I listed the stuff. I came in my fridge. Everything was good. Stuff like that. They had someone to handle my key wise. Like, bro, they treated me like a real star. So that is the most memorable. You see me talk about this thing like this,
Mhm.
it's that I can't help it. I can't help it.
That's like, would you say you are living the dream now?
Well, with this experience, trust me, I told myself I'm living the dream. I started living the dream. And I hope that, and that's why I want to conquer other territories. I met a lot of people there, Alpha Blondie. I met one very famous French stylist who told me, bro, you're the best I've seen so far. I was like, yo, in Ivory Coast, we have amazing guys that I can see. Your bilingualism is out of this world. I met Traoré, the Canal Plus journalist who was brought over to come down to, NC and all of that is he told me, Steve, you are really, really extraordinary. He said, I am a bilingual host, but your English and your articulation is something else. So I will be giving you gigs in Ivory Coast for English presenters because I really love the way you work. That's Malik Traoré. Shout out to you, big brother. And I met a couple of people. I met a lot of artists there. I met a lot of contact. I also met this lady who is an artist manager, and she's also part of the Afrima team. We're working out something because I want to host Afrima this year.
Oh, that's
And I told them I have to go out there. I have to host a Prima as a francophone host. I don't mind speaking French only, no problem, because I can speak French perfectly and I can speak English perfectly. I host in both languages. But Afrima is one of the programs there, the award ceremonies. I mean, Afrima Lagos, Nigeria, that I want to host. Even the one, in the US, depending, but Lagos, Nigeria is what I want to do. The ones, yeah. So all of these things are, I think it's time for me to go out there and live the dream.
hmm hmm man. The way you speak, you know what I mean? The way you speak, you're like speaking this light into yourself. You know what I mean? Like you're saying, yeah, I need this, I deserve this. And that's a very good thing. You know what I mean? A lot of our brothers and sisters need to be speaking, things into existence for themselves as well. So, man, kudos to you
Good.
for that. Kudos to you for that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Voiceover, voiceover. I mean, before I used to look at, cartoons and things, I'm like, yo, how do these people do this, create this
Yeah.
thing and have this thing talk? It was just something that, used to fascinate me till I actually learn, the artistry of it. But bring it to movies, sometimes you hear you see somebody in a movie, but then it's a different voice and you're like, yo, it does not make sense. Like who's speaking? You know what I mean? So there's a whole
That's
different,
right.
yeah, there's a whole different actor who is actually doing the voiceover. So, um, talk to us a little bit about that, real quick. Um, what really is it? What's the art of it? And how did you, get yourself into that?
Well, I'll start with how I got myself into it. Simple. It's when I embraced the gospel from another perspective. And this time around in the household of faith called Gospel of Christ Ministries that, I got into voiceovers. I'd never done it before. And that particular ministry produces, they used to produce, and they still do up to this day, they produce the messages. And, every message on Wednesday, Sundays, and everything, they put in the CDs. And when I bought the CDs, because they offered me a CD one of them, as newcomers, they often offer us a CD. So they gave me your identity in Christ and fathered by God. And when I got home, one day I listened to it, and the first thing that came is the voice of Gospel of Christ Ministries presents or something. I was like, when I listened to it, sometimes I criticized the voice because there was this particular voice that came, it was so good. And then there were these other voices that also came, and I felt like there was something wrong with voices. And I couldn't digest it. Every time I played that CD, it just kept telling me, yo, tell these guys. So one day I went to church and I asked to see those who work for the audiovisual department. And so I was introduced to them. Then I told Mr. Bless that, yo, um, I love what you guys are doing. But there's this voice that, can't you just work with the other voice at school? I think there's articulation problem here, this and that. And then he was like, well, if you could see that, it means you can do it. I was like, no, 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 I can't do it. My voice is like. And one of the guys who was actually doing the voiceover, the main guy that I really appreciated was not far from there. He was just looking McDonald Kenya. And then, basically, they got me into this stuff and started teaching me. I said, well, I'm willing to learn so I can articulate. He said, no, your articulation is right. So, and that's how I started doing the voiceovers in church.
Mhm.
And that's how I later on started monetizing. So it just happened like that. Now, voiceover is very particular because it's, I used to call it voice acting. It's really voice acting. You are playing a role, and as an actor, you should know which role you can play best. And if you are very versatile, then you can actually ride on your versatility to give you, more, how to call it. Well, I just lost the word, but to give you a capacity, to expand and really have fun and have the most out of that field. You get what I'm saying?
Mhm.
But you should know the role you can play. If you can play multiple roles, stick to the role you can play. Now, with voice acting, they have three major voices, and those different palettes would help you to explore the voices in between. We have the low range voice, the middle range, and the high range voice. For low range voices, you can have like more than 100 different kind of low range voices. For
Mhm.
middle range, same thing, and it's really vast. But now the truth is, you might have the voice, but the character to play when it's about um cartoons or movies or documentaries and everything, it's about characters. Apart from having the voice, the range you're looking for, the vocal timbre, you should be able to play the role and the character. It's easier to do normal documentaries and all of that. But well, I mean, not very complex because they're also complex documentaries. But
Yep.
I mean, than doing cartoons and movies and all of that. It's about acting. That's why I said I would prefer to call it voice acting so that people can picture the fact that it is you're just the same like any actor. The only thing is that you're not seen.
Facts. Facts.
You're not seen. You're not at the forefront. You're at the background.
Yep.
Just like the voices of Harry Potter, any cartoon you can imagine, or Harry Potter and all of that. You know, just basically that's it. Voice acting is about playing a role. You're an actor, or you're rather a vocal actor. Now you
Mhm.
just need to know the roles you play and which is your range, so that you don't go to a place to a field you don't master.
Gotcha. Like real quick, acting, I I seen a little clip, of you, playing pastor in which the recent movie, oh,
Half
half
heaven.
even. Yeah. Um how has, you jumping into movies, how's that, Belgium, I mean, added to your career, you know what I mean? And where are you taking that to? I know they say the sky's the
Okay.
limit, but hey, when people go to the moon and things like that. So where's that limit for you?
Well, the sky is my springboard, so I pretty much I'm limitless. I don't want to set a limit for myself or to myself for the simple reason that I think I have God in me, and if God is a God of limitless possibilities, it's unsearchable, then I shouldn't be limiting myself. I'll be contrary to the nature that is in me. Now, I'll rather say that the little success I have my as a presenter, as a TV host, as a radio host, as an MC for concerts, awards, ceremonies, weddings, and all of this, as an on-air personality, has given me, an easy access to like easy access into the cinema industry. Many directors could now see the eloquence, the charisma, a lot of things that they would not see or they wouldn't have seen had they didn't have this aura already. I guess there are many more actors amongst the presenters who are struggling to have a name, who are even better actors, but they will not notice them because they already have a whole community of actors and actresses that they have to look out for. And sometimes it's tight getting a role for them. So why would they be going out to look at a community of presenters who are not directly linked to the job? But now, when they want to bring in new people for the marketing purposes, using images, because it's about now using brands to sell your product, because a movie is a product, and see how you can teach them one or two things so they can play minor roles and attract, the traffic towards your movie and all of that and the credibility. You start looking out of the sphere of actors who are good but who are not popular. You start looking for those people. I think the little success that I have in this domain has helped me. And then they discovered many of them, Anu Nunembo, that I respect a lot, Cameroon, award-winning Cameroonian actor and screenplay and director, told me Steve was extremely talented. I've worked with a lot of people who work on, like Energon Scott. I've worked with a lot of these ace producers and videographers who told me, Steve, you do these things effortlessly. I mean, trust me, on Half Heaven and even on Laxulu, I always ask Dr. King. In fact, I would say, okay, Dr. King, some people will say he's a new director and blah, blah, blah. Let's not even go into those details. I used to ask Energon Scott, like, bro, are you sure? Like, I've just done this thing, you're not complaining. He's like, no, 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 never mind. If it's not good, I'll let you know. I was like, it is okay. And he was astonished to see that most of my stuffs were one shot. And so he told me that, Steve, you're really very talented. I think you need to take acting seriously because I am still not taking it seriously. It's just recently that I started assuming that I'm an actor. And I keep saying I'm still in my debut. So pretty much, I think it's rather the MC side, the presentation side, that has really propelled me into the film industry. And I'm really starting well on very good projects that are winning awards. You understand, many of these actors have not done movies that are on Netflix, that have even been accepted on Netflix or international streaming platforms. There are many in the industry. Who am I to just come in like that and boom, I am on movies that are winning awards and everything? It's good for CV though.
This one is a little bit about, how you've seen the culture, right? From emceeing to sports, reporting, right? To even movies, voiceover, right? You've seen the industry grow, probably even from kid, right? You've heard about it, you've witnessed different
Yeah.
venues of it, from our CRTV, shutting off at a certain time, and then you have to sit at a certain time. You wake up and have to sit and wait for it to come on, things like that. Have you seen the industry, well, not grow, but where do you see it going in the next 5 to 10 years, or where would you like for it to be? What is it that you would like to, bring to the table to impact it?
Well, first and foremost, let's not be shy or afraid to say that our industry has grown because it has grown. I get a lot of people say a lot of things. Oh, baby industry, this, that, try to compare Cameroon and everything. If they have taken time to observe this industry for the past 30 years, we have grown. I mean, I'm talking about now the urban music industry. We have grown, we've come along. If it's the music industry as a whole, please, Cameroon was rocking with the big guns and the wealth is speaking long time ago, 40, 50 years ago. So what are we talking about? Which industry are we talking about? Now we want to see, just like the Indomitable Lions, right? We've got 5 stars. But many people just keep looking at this team, right? And it's shameful as per the image that Cameroon already had. Does it mean that football doesn't exist again in Cameroon or did not exist before? Please give Cameroon its props because history can never be wiped. So the only thing we should acknowledge is that we were great in the past, but right now work has to be done so we can go back to our greatness. So we are not that great in the past. We are not that great in the past. But to say that it is inexistent and we have never, it's to be uninformed and to be stupid. Because today we are living in an age where we can get information in a click and in less than a minute. And to be dumb should be a crime. The least thing we should do is to go back to history and find out who we are. And this we should have this notion of self because it leads you and it guides you and it galvanizes. If you have a virgin history, it's different from when you have a victorious past. And then today you find yourself like someone who's starting afresh. That victorious past will give you the effrontery to you know to be head to head with the best in the summit. You want to do everything to get back your stature of the past. But when you're starting from nothing, you want to inspire yourself from those who succeeded so that you can be like them tomorrow or you can get to the top. But when you've already been a king in the past and you've gained the respect of the entire world, what you have to do is to look inwards, see what made you a king, see how you can adapt it to what's happening now and what's making others kings in order for you to rise to the stature of king. We cannot sweep our hearts and history away because of ignorance or because of, I don't know, insecurity or whatever. So let's be proud to say Cameroon industry has grown. I mean, the urban industry, because the other people like Manili Bangos and all the other people, man, see, Cameroon has done a lot that we don't know about. When I
Right.
learned that James Brown in the 1970s, he came to Cameroon. I mean, James Brown, when he was still popping, I think it should be
Hmm.
96. He came to Cameroon. James Brown came for a concert in Cameroon. Cameroon was in his tour list.
Wow.
It means we had consumers of what he did, of rock and roll and all of that.
Hmm.
So James Brown, being the king that he was in the genre, who inspired Michael Jackson and all of that, came to Cameroon. And there was this blind man who came to him and said, and in fact came to his manager and begged to see James Brown. So James Brown could listen to what he did because he loved what James Brown was doing. And he got inspired from James Brown.
Hmm.
And so when that blind man called Andre Maritala is still alive, you could ask him, brought his project to the manager, James Brown, the manager. That project, that album it's called Hot Copy. It's available on YouTube. James Brown did not see it. He did not receive it. The manager at least took his turntable disc and went with it. 3 months after, 3 months after, he sampled the entire album in his next project.
Wow.
I am telling you, if you go to Hot Copy now, you
Hmm.
get the same sample. You play Hot Copy was not only the name of his album, Andre Maritala, but it was also the name of his single. That particular single, Hot Copy, and I'll probably send you the link inbox.
Yep.
You listen to
Please.
it.
Mhm.
It is sampled exactly. It's plagiarism.
Wow.
But he did not do only that. He took some other vibes and other grooves from the album and added it to to the album. We can go and listen both and compare. That's why I'm saying that today with these things that are available on social media, on internet, I beg your pardon, if we are dumb, it's because we lack information or we refuse to have it. And when you begin to know the greatness of your country like this, you go like, yo, man, we were rocking it. We were rocking it at the top. So now let's do the diagnosis to know what's happening right now. What has changed? How can we come back to our glorious past? Now,
Oh.
what am I bringing in to help? I think with every content I've created on the radio, TV, the objective was to push our culture. From Street 237 to the Coffee Club to dope music I co-created with Eva and that I hosted to everything, even on concerts and everything. I've been pushing local content. We never for a day took a dime from an artist to promote the artist, to have the artist on our show. What many other people do, because we believe that we're promoting the culture. So I have been contributing and I will still contribute. Because I told you I'm a content, I'm a producer as well.
Hmm.
So I'm trying to prepare, I'm trying to suggest a show, bring up a show that really get a sponsor on it so that we can actually make the culture go forward. And besides, I intend to really be, an investor and a stakeholder in this, you know, so that when concerts are supposed to be produced, I could be amongst the people who have all the equipment and all the know-how. Remember, I went to Ivory Coast, I saw things, and
Yep.
I stood in that van and I told God, I should have this in the mighty name of Jesus. I should own this production unit so I can produce beyond Africa if necessary. And I can deliver at the top at continental standard. So basically, I'm here to stay.
Yeah.
I'm here to stay. I believe in this.
Yeah. Man, you're speaking into existence, man. Um, and even speaking things into existence, last year, you held your top class luxury MC masterclass, titled MC Extraordinary Secrets. How was that?
Yeah.
How did it go? What was the turnout like? You know, talk to us about that.
It was mind blowing. Trust me, I actually wanted to go in for a 50 seats or sitting capacity hall, uh, and hoping that I would not have quantity but just quality people, even if they don't feel the people to the hotel that wanted to partner with me. The things that I wanted a hotel, I had to pay my money. But funny enough, God has a way of doing things. Those people called me up and asked me whether I could host their end of year event, their crossover event that I did, by the way, is 2023 to 2024. And they offered me they told me, we cannot pay you. We don't have that money to pay you now because we cannot spend that kind of money to pay you. What we want to do is an exchange of service. And trust me, they gave me way beyond what I could expect from the facilities, enjoying all the facilities, and they gave me a 200 seat hall. I was like,
Wow.
wow. And it's their best hall, let us seat everything. And then I I did not spend that money. And I said, God, you're great. By then, I was already getting involved with Music Star, so I had no time to communicate. But they gave it to me in a particular time frame, and I said, you know what? I just have to go. Let me not postpone this. So I went. We had about 70 people in attendance, in a hall of 200 and something people, with 200 people. I had 70 people for the first masterclass, and it was awesome. It was awesome. What the young guys are doing now, because they are already talented, they are already in the field, but that reorientation, they send me feedback all the time, and I'm so proud of all of them, from Lionel Mekonsu to Zabrel, le charismatique, to all the other guys, MC Makanaki, and all of them. Some of them in Gaoundou in the north, far north region, some in the center, some are here in the littoral, doing big stages, 20,000 people, 15,000 people, weddings, and they're selling new stuff, rebranding themselves on their social media because I'm checking all the time.
Hmm.
And they tell me, I love it. We want to dress like you, we want to do things like you, and all of that. I just keep saying that it's time for me to multiply myself in people. It's time for me to give up. Because you know what? I've always wanted to transmit, but I felt like until I get to the top, and then my mentor, Tito, told me, it's never too late to impact. The little you have, give. Because the little you have is what people are looking for. They are praying for. The more you get, you'll be giving progressively. Don't wait until you get it all because you never get it all. And from that moment, I said, I'm not going to stop. And trust me, I have a celebrity edition coming up. For those who want to steal the idea just like what they have been doing, let them go ahead. I have no problem with that. But I know I'm always going to be extraordinary in doing my stuff. So I have a celebrity edition coming up because there is a problem that's real in Cameroon. Today, it's a good thing for companies to work a lot with influencers and celebrities
Hmm.
as presenters. But most of the celebrities, when they are called up, they call me to coach them. So I realized that, okay, when you go up there and your performance is mediocre, it means you never had enough time for coaching. So what do? I come with a masterclass to fix it because guess what? I would love to see our celebrities also called up to go to Ivory Coast, to Nigeria, to all of that. Cameroon has had two hosts on a streamer. Sophie Aida, who hosted with Akon. Thank God she's the presenter.
Mhm.
Pamela Happy, who hosted with AY. Thank God she's a presenter. If Stephanie Toom or Cindy Emmanuel is called up, they wouldn't put up the same performance at presentation, no matter how eloquent they are, because it's not their job. So what I want, meantime, AY is a comedian, but it's putting up great presentation skills, you know? So what I want to do is to get them to work on that part so that they can be excellent, make more money, get more value, put more value to their name. That's where MC Extraordinaire, the teacher, comes in. So that MC Masterclass you're talking about, it's it's a legacy project. It is my love. It is something I'm about to do. By the way, we're about to do two masterclasses this year. Yeah,
You know, you did for the
at,
first one.
at least. For the first one, I wanted the celebrity edition to happen before the second half of the year for the simple reason that most of Northern Cameroon's calendar, right, for events and everything, it intensifies towards the second half of the year. So they will be needed at that time. So I think they should be trained at that time. And
Mhm.
so what I would do is that I'll put them in the same conditions I was put in. I mean, just for the presentation level, not everything, because I cannot put them in everything I experience in Ivory Coast. But I would bring to them the same conditions and they will discover it later. Let me not give this little trick out.
Mhm.
But I think it should be, I want to do it before June. And I have a master class I have to co-host with some other host from Canada. He called me, he said he saw what I did with the MC Extraordinaire Secrets, and he really wants me, he wants us to come together, unite forces, and do something great. He teaches on public speaking. I'll teach on MCing red carpet and red carpet events and awards ceremonies and all of that. So I said, no problem. But we are trying to, we settled for June, but I just had a new gig and I have to shift it. So it's going to take me like 3 months out of the country. I'll be in Europe, precisely in Malta, by the grace of God. So the diplomat just called me and told me you have to go out for a movie and stuff like that. So I might just shift the program a little bit, but I will give you the precise dates as soon as I'm certain with the team.
Nice, nice. Um, was there any interview that you did that impacted your career the most?
Interview that I did that impacted my career.
Mhm.
Um, wow, like I've done so many. Impacted my career, interview. No, I think it's more of my presentation. You
Gotcha.
know, the interview that I think would have impacted my career, I had an opportunity to interview Manuel Bango, you know, and I was with my guys and they were not smart enough. So I missed that opportunity. But I had a conversation, long conversation with him. And Manu, you know, is a patriarch. He, he inspires me a lot. And I talk with his son by the grace of God. We have good communication relationship. James BKS. And
Mhm.
trust me, man, I'm just so grateful that I'm keeping in touch with my Mr. Bessie.
Nice, nice, nice. Other than TV, radio, MCing, are they other and voiceover? Are there any other ventures that you would love to jump into, explore?
Ooh, real estate agriculture.
Nice.
Real estate agriculture. I'm a big fan of lands. Just like people love cars.
Hmm.
Yeah, I love cars, but I would really like to do a collection of lands. I need
Love
to
it.
buy the maximum amount of lands.
Yeah.
Boom. I like get into real estate. This is something I don't know how it's going to happen because it's huge money I'm talking about, but you know, nothing is impossible to God and to someone who believes. I love to be a mad person. Let it be madness. Let it shock me. But yes, by the grace of God, I need to own a lot of lands and I need to do a lot of because I love I want to do humanity I want to do humanitarian projects, relocate people, you know, give them houses. Not everybody is able to hustle, and let's be
Mhm.
honest. That some people will never hustle in this life and they have something comfortable. Let that talk. Or see, some people in they will not ever.
Yeah.
So I
That's
feel
true.
like they have to be helped. they have to be given a push,
Mhm.
giving them
Speaking
what to
of
do, what
pushing,
not, stuff like that.
yeah,
Teaching them something, training them to become farmers for those who can, teaching them handwork, shoemanry or shoemaking, tailoring,
mhm,
public stuff, so that they get useful to themselves. They
yeah,
should be able to, to feed themselves. So I shouldn't beg you all the time. Okay, I beg for the sound, I beg for 10 pounds, I beg for things like that. It hurts. It
yep,
hurts. So I
yep,
think, yeah.
yep. How do you balance? Last question here. How do you balance, everything that you do? What I mean? Like, how do you balance that with family, work, and your own self? What I mean? How do you take, your own time that you need for yourself to at least catch a breather before getting back to it?
You know, there's passion. I think my passion always meets with my reality. So you better strike the balance at that point. Passion can make you, forget about what's real and sometimes get selfish, you know. But now when you've got family, I've got two amazing kids. I'm not with one. It's rather unfortunate. It's a hard knock life for me, my son. But my daughter is giving me life. But when I look at that little girl, look at her mother, you know, bro, I realize that this life is real. The needs are real. The problems are real. The people are real. The breath is real. So, bro, to balance it, it's an easy thing. Just look at them. In fact, the needs would humble you, and their, their desire for love, for care, for attention, and all of that. So, yeah, and the fact that you have responsibility to manage your dreams.
Yep,
You'll not be with a woman and not be responsible for her success as well, and your kids, and it's a process. Like it's work that doesn't end. You're not paid for it. You rather have to be at the top, and it's 10 times more difficult than delivering at your job site. Sometimes they don't even believe you. They don't even recognize you. At your job, people will hail you and lift you up and be so. But at home, if they see how sometimes the people at home will treat you, they'll feel like, no, it's normal. Daddy has to be normal. You get the point. So that humbles you and that keeps you in check. Like, yo, this reality gave a catch up. But
that's true, man. That's the truest thing we just made right there. Oh man, we've touched on a lot. I appreciate you, for this sit down. What is one thing that we haven't touched on? A few things I haven't touched on that you would like for the people to know. And I should give that, of course, let the people know where they can find you, how they can reach you, how they can book you, all that good stuff.
no, we have not touched a lot of things. We've not touched a lot of things. I've not gotten deeper into a lot of things like it would have been long story, coming to the 2018 World Cup, the emotions and all of that. Getting to all these events. Bro, I have hosted almost 1,000. What am I talking about? More than. But this is the 10th year professionally. In fact, I don't count this other day. But this is my 10th year. I have to celebrate my 10th anniversary as a master of ceremony and all of that. I have hosted a lot of events, bro. So, bro, there are a lot of things to say. So we've not touched a lot, even emotionally, personal life, and other topics and stuff like that. But I think that's why interviews are progressive and successive, and we'll probably have opportunities and like to talk about. So you can find me on Instagram, on my page first, Christian Steve, then it's Christian Steve, no, Steve Fonkam, Steve Fonkam. I have a Facebook page that has been pirated, Christian Steve Bernard Fonkam, so nobody should go there. I'm not doing anything with that page. If anybody writes to you, oh, I don't know, that's you. You would probably be scammed. But now, I created a new page on Facebook. So on Instagram, I have my page for Steve Fonkam, right? So Steve Fonkam is available on Instagram. And on Instagram as well, we have MC Extraordinary Secret. You can go there to find out, my activities and then my stuff like that. But mostly when it comes to giving back, teaching and communicating knowledge. Same thing on Facebook, MC Extraordinaire Secret, and then there's another page called Steve. My page now on Facebook is Steve Fonkam MC Extraordinaire. So I have two pages, Steve Fonkam MC Extraordinaire and MC Extraordinaire Secrets on Facebook. On Instagram, it's Steve Fonkam, and then there's MC Extraordinaire Secrets. And then same thing on, I think my community manager opened the same thing too on X, that is Twitter. We have the same pages there as well. And I have my normal Steve Fonkam page too on X. And that's it. I have my LinkedIn account, Steve Fonkam, my TikTok account, Steve Fonkam. My YouTube account will be revamped or maybe create a new one so we can start putting new content in it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. No, definitely would like for you to come back so we could really, dive deeper into, your personal life, for one, for those who, would like to know. And then also too, for everybody who's listening to this, right? Like help me to, bring out the questions that, some things that you like to learn about Steve, because I know there's a lot, there's a platform of things. We can't really just capture that in an hour. I know most of you would not sit through this entire hour. So I would definitely love to host you back again. Let's, dive deep more into who Steve really is outside of
No.
acting and TV and all that.
Question, are you married?
I'm getting there.
You're kind of, or you are married?
No, I'm not married yet. No.
Okay, good.
Hmm.
I asked the question because one of the reasons why there is actually said when we discussed was like, hey, wow, I mean, you need to be stuck in the middle so you can also give your views. Is that one day I woke up in the morning after going through my things, you know, relationship is hard, bro. Relationship is so hard and it's work. So I woke up one day and I posted on my WhatsApp story that those who are happily married, God has favored you guys. Clap for yourself. Because we don't congratulate you enough. So it was so funny. Many people commented. And then we had a conversation. She was like, yo, Steve, you know what? We have to jump on Stuck on the Middle podcast sometimes when we're having this conversation because we share a lot. And then let's have your own view of it. But first and foremost, let's start by even receiving you because you have a lot going on. You've been working hard and stuff like that. So let me get to the team and then see what they think about it. So that's why I asked you that question. So we have a lot to talk
Yeah, for
about
sure.
names, about a couple of things.
Hey, I'm open to it. You know what I mean? I know you're a busy man, but you're going to create time for it. So I got your Instagram. You know what I'm saying? Don't worry. Don't worry. The rest will be
Thank
history.
you.
Don't worry. The rest will be history. You're giving me the ideas, and ideas I shall execute. You know? Listen,
Thank you guys for inspiring us. I would be running a podcast, and trust me, whenever I think of Joe Budden's podcast and a couple of other people's podcasts, I think of Stuck in the Middle as well. So I see how you guys have grown well, and trust me, I'll copy from you guys. I'll inspire myself, and I'll even copy. There's no bad to copy. I'll bring in my touch, of course, because I have this podcast I'm working on, um, Afro Republic, and I'm really trying to bring it out in my own way and make it special. And trust me, you guys are inspiring people. You're inspiring me. I'll always give you guys credit.
appreciate it, bro. Appreciate it. And this for me, I always believe that there's nothing like, I don't think that there's nothing like couple, especially, in this realm of things. You just got to take it and make it your own. Because I took somebody's own, I made it my own too. You know what I mean?
Perfect.
So it's all about just putting the information out there and trying to bridge gaps. That's what it is for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, man, thank you for your time. Let's do this
It's a
again. I
pleasure,
mean,
brother.
yeah, let's do this again. I mean, I'm talking about like real soon, not next year or anything, real soon. Before this
Hit
first
me up.
is over.
Let's just hit me up. Let's just, see how our programs can align and then boom, we go.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Man, let me let you go. You know what I mean? Do other things. Thank you, thank you. And
You're welcome.
yeah, I'll definitely let you know when this goes up.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you
Thank you,
so
my
much.
brother.
You're welcome. You're
Yeah.
welcome.
Have a good weekend.
Same to you. Stay blessed.
Thank you. Thank you.